Shia LaBeouf sold his soul and he's paying the price. All right, got me. I did see he was on, I think, Channel 5 for like a YouTube
Shia
video.
LaBeouf's life has
And I remember
control.
in the video, like, he was just cooked. Like, all his answers were just cooked as hell. Yo, are you hungry? Yo. Oh, it's text.
And he keeps making.
Yeah, this is the exact one. This is the exact one. He was absolutely fried in this interview. Just deep fried. Just deep fried. I never seen a nigga just like give such weird responses in my life. If I'm just keeping it a $1.50 with niggas. If I'm just keeping it a $1.50. Oh, this is actually the best way to have it. Have it at 45%. Nah, I actually might keep it at 42%. Yeah, keep it at 42% because then I can see the whole shit. Yup. Life of a streamer. Life of a streamer. Let's go.
Everything worse and worse. He's arrested at Mardi Gras for assaulting someone in the street, bailed out the same night, back partying the next day. His ID is then found on the street. He's completely wasted, staring at you in the pub like some crazy nutcase who's washed up from the streets. And we're talking about a former A-list star, a guy who's worth $20 million. But that might just be the cost of his life. Because he always said meaningless, he felt ashamed of achievements that most people can only dream of. He was simply not compatible with any of it, and it destroyed him.
All these movies, I have big shame about these movies. They don't mean anything. And I felt like I was living a life that was meaningless. And so I drank a lot and smoked a lot of weed, very lascivious with women, and was trying to like fill a hole, just constantly chasing instincts, just like an animal.
He said too many Diddy parties got loads of actors acting different, man. Bro, Shia LaBeouf is actually unhinged, bro. He's actually unhinged. Like, look at him right now. Is this, I don't even know what is going on right now. But I wonder why he said everything felt meaningless, because he was definitely like an A-list actor for a minute in the mid-2000s, especially with Transformers. Like, that was a crazy like 3-part series.
And thought I was in control of things. And I was in an industry that would applaud that. And so I would come to set and I would freak out in front of a camera, ooh, and people would clap, and then I'd go home and I'd be a crazy person. And I hurt people.
He got in young, saw how it worked, and what he saw changed him.
He has been famous since like a
kept on
prepubescent little nigga. Like,
every stunt he pulled to reclaim his identity, even lying about his dad abusing him to sell his anyway.
I am not famous anymore. Why does he have a bag over his head saying that though? That's nutty.
Pulled to reclaim his identity, even lying about his dad abusing him to sell his comeback movie. He kept selling himself to the machine, culminating in his latest breakdown on the streets of New Orleans. As he spirals out of control, he gives this unhinged interview about what happened on Channel 5, crying about God and Jesus.
What would you say to Jesus?
So I watched the first like 10 minutes of this probably, and then I was just like, this is so just nonsense and just stupid. I couldn't even process the dumb shit he was saying. I'm not gonna lie. And this dude definitely wasn't helping either.
Could meet him.
I wouldn't say shit.
Really?
Nah. Bro, I kissed.
Laughing about prison and sabotaging his own court case.
Went right back to the fucking French Quarter. It was about to be the fucking Zulu parade. Who gives a fuck, though? It's another experience.
Yeah.
Jail will be another adventure.
This is the only Shia everyone knows today. There's regret and repentance buried inside there somewhere.
Damn.
And it's clear he's
That's
paying
unfortunate.
a price most people couldn't even imagine.
I put a gun in my mouth. I was ready to kill myself.
So what actually happened?
In GTA,
It took
chat. In
only a few
GTA.
years for Hollywood to seemingly tear him apart and turn him into one of its most tragic stories. Because this is the Shia we still remember from before. Even Stevens and Holes, a fresh-faced, relatable kid who made people feel good about life.
Transformers.
Or Disturbia when he's sitting
Disturbia,
at home playing
that's a good one
games,
too.
spying on his neighbors. He was all about growing up with no responsibilities other than messing about with your friends, going to school and just playing pranks on the teachers, stumbling through bad situations, getting in trouble, and yet somehow still coming out on top.
I feel like it's always the child stars that have it the worst. I feel like they're just going through adult life as a kid. I think that really just messes with you mentally. I think
how
really
Shia's career took off. Hollywood needed a relatable guy who represented young people, and they nailed it.
You're in Holes. That's one of the movies you play Stanley, a young boy falsely arrested for stealing, subjected to unusual punishment.
You can see exactly what they saw in him and why this was
Holes is a Disney classic. Is this one of the best Disney movies of all time? Nah, I'm blacking. I'm not including all the anime stuff with it. No anime movie, like animated movies, like only like IRL, you know what I mean? Like, Holes gotta be top 5, gang. At least top 3. I don't know. It's up there. That's a good
With
one. That's
more
a
and more
classic.
fame coming his way, he later admitted he knew the risks, like when he said this.
Once this success starts, it's almost surreal and you can't believe it.
The world had been handed to me on a silver platter. I did not know why. It was just sort of handed to me, and I had a hard time coming to terms with that. It's like being a trust fund baby. Yeah, you're gonna f up.
But it didn't prevent him from getting completely sucked
That's
in,
real.
and that's exactly
That's real.
what happened. Shia's latest
But like
antics
this?
are the endpoint of a decade-long bender that probably kicked off when he released a short film called HowardCantor.com. It looked amazing when it aired at Cannes Film Festival, but turned out to be an almost shot-for-shot adaptation of a graphic novel by Daniel
Shameless
Close.
stuff.
The dialogue, structure, and narrative were all stolen. He hadn't credited Daniel at all. He hadn't even asked for permission, or even tried to hide any of this. And instead of apologizing, he doubled down, and what he did next shocked everyone. He goes on Twitter
Plagiarized
and starts
apologies.
apologizing, but every single apology is plagiarized too. He lifts lines from Tiger Woods, from Kanye West, from government officials, one after another, and when people catch on, he doesn't stop. He hires a skywriter to scrawl "I am sorry, Daniel Close" across the Los Angeles sky. Then he tweets some definitions of the word cloud. Cloud, vapor floating in the atmosphere. Remote servers used to share data to make less clear or transparent. Maybe it was some poetic genius about an industry that's just vapor. A cloud that appears huge, imposing, but it's mostly full of gas. Or maybe he was just high as a kite at the time he wrote it. With Shia, you just can never actually tell, as at this point he's already an enigma. Either way, the ridicule was off the chain, and the industry stopped forgiving his eccentric personality as soon as it became a genuine liability. But instead of backpedaling and apologizing to reinvent his career, Shia doubled down again. He sets up an art installation at a gallery in LA.
So has he
called
not?
I'm Sorry.
Wait.
For 6
You're
days.
sorry, cool. But like, has he not been in any movie? Like, been in any movies? Like recently? Has he not been in anything recently? Damn, he's 39. Old ass nigga. Holes, 2003, Fury, Transformers, Disturbia. Damn, he did Disturbia and Transformers in the same year. Those were 4 years apart. I don't know why. Am I disregarding his catalog? I feel like I might be. When was Lawless? I actually don't know what that is. Oh, Lawless was 2012. Lawless. Who's in this? Tom Hardy, Shia LaBeouf. I don't think I've ever seen this before. But how many on IMDb? 7.2 out of 10, 67%. Okay, you might know game, Dougal. You might know game. But yeah, he hasn't been in anything major in a long time. It seems like his run was from like 02 to like 08. Yeah, like 02 to 08. Because I remember when they brought back Transformers, and that shit just did not hit. Like the third one, or yeah, I don't know. They fucked up Transformers. I'm not gonna
He
lie.
sits in a small room wearing a tuxedo and the paper bag with "I am not famous anymore" written across it, all while members of the public are let in one at a time. They chose an object from a table on their way in. There's a whip, pliers, and a Transformers toy. A bowl
What
that
the
prints out
fuck?
hate tweets about him. Then they sit opposite him and do whatever they want. He doesn't speak or move, but just takes whatever comes his way. This is a direct inversion of the Hollywood dynamic. Instead of performing for the audience performs on him. He's making himself the product and letting people consume him in the most literal, uncomfortable way possible. And it got pretty weird. One woman, he later reveals, whipped his legs for 10 minutes and then sexually assaulted him while her boyfriend waited outside the door. And he didn't even break character. Now this, like a lot of modern art, will divide people into two camps.
What? I feel bad for her nigga. Wait, what? Hold on. Did I hear that right?
And it got pretty weird. One woman, he later reveals, whipped his legs for 10 minutes and then sexually assaulted him while her boyfriend waited outside the door. And he didn't even break character. Now this, like
That's
a lot of modern art, will divide
insane.
people into two camps. If you're in camp one, you think
Nah,
this is a
bro.
pretty cool stunt. At least
These Diddy
originally.
parties
If
in
you're
LA
camp
and
two,
shit, bro. That shit's gotta stop, bro. That shit's gotta stop. Like, I've been to Cali one time. It's nice. Don't get me wrong. It's beautiful. I definitely go back. I want to go back soon. But like, live there? Nah. Never could live there. Never, ever. But I do need to get out the East Coast because it's brick as fuck. Like, I should not be cold on March 21st, 2026. Like, it's fucking freezing in here right now.
You think this is pointless, pretentious,
I just gotta go to like
celebrity
Florida or
drivel.
some shit.
But regardless of what you think, it's definitely not normal behavior for someone who's appeared in Hollywood
Gotta get
blockbuster
some new
movies.
shit, bro. Gotta
Someone
get
who
some new
appeared in
shit.
Transformers, Fury, Indiana Jones. Hollywood stars are not known for their self-criticism. They all stay in the same self-protected bubble. where everyone's always sucking up to them at all times. When they're not on a promo run or hitting the red carpet, they overwhelmingly spend their time chilling out in the Hollywood Hills drinking champagne, looking down at the streets below. All while they attend secret mansion and island parties. But as you can imagine, Shia wasn't in the files. He said he hadn't even bothered to follow Epstein's story at all.
All these documents are dropping.
No, I mean,
Because he was lit at the right time too.
What do you mean? I wasn't paying no attention to Epstein files. Nah, this shit is beyond me, bro. I don't get into this shit.
But these first stunts were only the start of a very unusual rebellion against the industry that built him. He's booted off a stage production of Orphans after clashing with Alec Baldwin, and instead of keeping this quiet, he tweets his private email exchange with the cast. Then he turns up to the premiere of Lars von Trier's Nymphomaniac wearing the paper bag again, this time on the red carpet in Berlin. Then he pushes this even further. He films 36 monologues for art students at Central St. Martin's in London. One of them was a deranged motivational speech where he screams, "Just do it!" while clutching his crotch, which everyone ripped on. He released this under a Creative Commons license to make sure people could use it for whatever they wanted. And it goes even further than that. Rob Cantor, a musician from an indie
But like,
band
what
called
was the
Kelly
purpose
Poole,
of
was
that?
helping
The
his
just
friend
do
move
it
the
thing.
couch when he whispered Shia LaBeouf into his friend's ear and they burst out laughing. It then turned into this. It's an absurd fantasy of Shia as an actual cannibal hunting people in the woods. This went mega viral and was turned into a full theatrical production featuring the Gay Men's Chorus of Los
90
Angeles,
M's.
the LA Children's Choir, a string quartet, interpretive dancers wearing a giant Shia LaBeouf head, and the whole thing performed completely deadpan as though it's a serious orchestral piece. Now you might think this is a massive joke at Shia's expense, but if you watch to the end, you'll see the camera pans, where it's Shia himself in a tuxedo doing the Citizen Kane clap. He was in on it. He acknowledged the meme on Twitter before that too, writing, "You beat me." Millions of people probably know Shia for that one clip instead of his actual movies. It's the same meta-comedy witness he acted out in his art.
I know the real Shia
He's
LaBeouf.
pushing
Come on now.
into this liminal space where he's both laughing with and at himself.
Yeah.
But we still haven't reached his most ambitious and polarizing stunt yet, which saw him basically lose what little support he had left from at least half of America. On the day of Trump's inauguration, Shia set up a livestream camera outside a New York museum. Anyone can walk up and say he will not divide us into the lens. It's supposed to run for 4 years, but it lasts 6 days before he's arrested on camera after shoving someone who says Hitler did nothing wrong. The museum then shuts it down within 3 weeks, so he moves it to New Mexico. Shots are then fired nearby, so it's shut down again. So he goes underground. He plants a flag, just the words "He will not divide us," in an unmarked field somewhere in America. There's a camera pointing at the sky with no landmarks or clues, just a flag in clouds. But 4chan then finds this in 38 hours. They study Plague's reference flight radar data. They find a photo of Shia at a Tennessee diner on social media. Then they send a local to drive around honking his horn until it's picked up on the livestream audio. They then replace the flag with a MAGA hat. So he moves it to Liverpool, again shut down in 2 days. Then France, which was also sabotaged. The project bounces between
You understand how crazy that is? In 38 hours, someone found a random flag in the sky and was able to identify it due to flight patterns. Are you serious? And they used like his IG to find him as well because they knew he was in Tennessee because someone asked for a picture. That is nuts. Like, someone could easily just dox me in what's it called right now. I could get swatted any second. God forbid. Please don't. Knock on wood. But you get what I'm trying to say though? Like, internet's a scary place, bro. Scary ass place.
The flag in internet history. Then he books out a cinema in New York and live streams himself watching every single one of his own films, back to back for 3 days straight. The public can just walk in and sit with him. Thousands watch online, not the films, but just him. They watch Shia watch himself. They then screenshot his reactions, track which film he's on, and turn his reactions into memes. He laughs through the early stuff, cringes through the blockbusters, falls asleep during some. He looks genuinely miserable during Transformers. And you can literally watch 10 hours of this on YouTube. The memes were pretty incredible. And the fact that he looked happiest watching the smaller films nobody saw, and most broken when watching the ones that made him famous, aligns with what he's been saying, though you can't tell if this was already premeditated. Then there's the Take Me Anywhere hashtag. Shia and his art collaborators tweet out their live GPS
So you're telling me
coordinates.
he's been just completely crumbling for 10 years straight, and no nigga was able to go and help him, bro. You're telling me no one was able to go come and help this man? Are we serious, guys? Are we serious?
And accept a
Do
ride
I have to be the
whoever
one to
shows
do
up
it?
first.
Does it
For a
have to be
month,
me?
A Hollywood star
all the time?
standing on the side of the road, waiting for strangers to pick him up. Truckers, students, families, he doesn't care. He has no entourage, no security, no publicist. He literally goes wherever they take him. He then released it as a documentary and it's pretty heartwarming, honestly. This gave Shia's life a real glimmer of hope, and it makes for a stark comparison to Shia now. You have to try and acknowledge what he was trying to do in deconstructing and humiliating himself.
That cut is
A
not
lot
it,
of people
gang.
said it was self-indulgent
That cut
and
is not it.
narcissistic since he was publishing all of this for everyone
Yeah,
to see.
11,
But every
15
stunt was an
more, holy
attempt
mother.
to make a mark beyond being credited in a film. Almost as if he was playing a real version of the unhinged juvenile he portrayed in some of his films. None of it worked, but the desperation behind it was real. And there's no denying that Shia earned his criticisms. People defended him at the start, but his manic state exhausted his support. All the while, he was consuming more and more drugs and alcohol. He was arrested during a live performance on Broadway after sexually
How many times has he been
assaulting
arrested? It's been
all
like
while
I'm at
smoking
4. I lost
repeatedly
count.
inside and being extremely intoxicated after downing multiple double whiskeys after arriving. Around then, James Franco stepped out of the Hollywood line and actually wrote an opinion piece comparing LaBeouf to Marlon Brando, arguing that both were rebelling against a system that forces actors to become their public persona. Franco frames it as LaBeouf trying to reclaim his public persona through performance art, and we all know what eventually happened to James Franco later on. But at the time, seriously, the industry is now fully set on smothering an evidently sick person with mental health and addiction problems. And this isn't the early 2000s or 90s when no one cared. The industry had gone through tons of public breakdowns like Britney, Amanda Bynes, and Lindsay Lohan. It's just an endless list that raised serious questions about their duty of care, but no lessons were learned. Nothing about his behavior is excused, but the handling of it is not comfortable when big figures in Hollywood commit horrific systemic crimes and somehow still get standing ovations. Like Roman Polanski raping a 13-year-old, fleeing the country and still getting Hollywood praise. At the time, it was just taken for granted that he'd gone a bit mental. Like when Kimmel casually introduced his appearance with this line.
You seem to have gone crazy since the last time I saw you. Is that
does
true?
seem that way, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I have.
This hits harder because Shia once embodied the optimism of youth, but now he started to embody that optimism being destroyed by the realities of life. All the time he'd been climbing the ranks, his father was a drug user with PTSD from 3 tours in Vietnam who spent 3 years in prison for attempted rape in the 80s. Even at a young age, he quickly realized he wasn't so much a star, but a product. A product being sold to make studios hundreds of millions of dollars. He starts self-medicating with weed and alcohol, and he was arrested for drunk driving after crashing his car with a Transformers co-star. It's the first in a string of arrests, alongside behavior that only gets more bizarre as time goes on. But the chaos didn't hurt him at first, it helped him. He even admitted that his off-screen shenanigans actually made him more appealing to Hollywood directors at the time. For the industry, it's free marketing. They make an authentic child star. He's a bit unhinged, but so what? It's Hollywood. So they leave him off at the hook. Off at the back of Transformers, Indiana Jones was next, and would be the pinnacle of his career, starring again as the unhinged rogue that he was. But this turned out to be a total nightmare. As he began testing the limits, his behavior becomes more outrageous. He confessed he didn't even love acting. He'd come to hate it and everyone linked to it. He hated this entire fake Hollywood life. As his initial plan, the drive behind his career to begin with was simply to help his family. He was just 10 years old when he saw other kids doing stand-up comedy, then found a number in a phone directory, called the agent and talked his way into getting some gigs. This is why he seems so legit compared to all these other.
I'm 24 and I can't do stand-up. Now this nigga's over here doing this shit at fucking 10. Like what? Huh? I guess I'm just not a funny nigga, chat. Oh my god.
As he's not some rich kid lifter from a showbiz family backed by expensive drama school training. So by the time Shia was old enough to understand what he traded, the transaction was already done. And none of it worked because his family was still a mess. Money wasn't fixing his problems. This entire life he dedicated himself towards wasn't doing the thing that it was supposed to. And all of his effort, he'd seen it for what it was. It wasn't art at this level, it was a money machine. He was the tool he used to do
this
just
woman
that.
is
It didn't
tweaking
square
out.
with him for the simple fact that he didn't have an institutional state of mind. Compare him to someone like Harrison Ford.
Yo, I'm sorry. This is crazy. Nah, chat, I'm not gonna lie. I'm hungry. All right, I'm hungry. I'm hungry. I'm hungry. I'm hungry. I'm hungry. Okay. And Shorty had the audacity to say, fuck it. We gotta go on stream, bro. We gotta go on stream. Bro, I'm hungry, right? So I'm thinking like, damn, it's already getting late. I don't got that many options. Probably gonna go to like El Jefe's or something. And she's like, yeah, I'm not hungry right now. I had a few slices because there was like a parents' night thing at her job, whatever. Cool. So she was like, we could do something crazy. I'm like, what? What could we do? And in my head, I'm already knowing, like, she's probably going to say we could go back for the leftovers at her job. Nigga. I'm already knowing it in my head. I'm already knowing it. And then just seeing her type it out and send it and press send for some cold pizza and fries. That's what you think of me, baby? Better than that. Better than that.
Starring in one of the
Fries.
biggest movies
Fries.
of the era, created by the key figures in the Hollywood elite like Steven Spielberg. People at the top, people like Harrison Ford, learned the game decades ago.
I might do it though.
Show up,
the thing
do
is,
the work, go home,
I might do it.
say
I'm only been live for
nothing.
like
The
not even an hour
old-school
though, so I
model.
feel
But the new
like
model of Hollywood is
like
stranger. There are a handful of people in Hollywood now where you genuinely can't tell when the on-camera version ends and the off-camera version begins. The Rock is the top of that pyramid. He posts
For
a 4
sure.
AM workout video every day with the same grin he's had for 20 years. Is that Dwayne Johnson or is that The Rock? Or does it even matter? Shia's real and performative self bleed together in a different way. The real and the performed don't merge, they're at war. He can't fully become the product because something in him keeps rejecting it. But he can't go back to being a normal person either because he hasn't been one since he was 10. So he's stuck in between, too honest to fake it, but too damaged to stop. The Rock never admitted to steroids. Shia admitted immediately he was taking them on his role for Salvable.
I was about to die. We had a cardiologist tell me you gotta stop. I was on like all kind of weird steroids, like not steroids, but it's called SARMs. You know what that is? SARMs.
Oh yeah.
He's
I
been
heard of
labeled
SARMs.
as the millennial's Mel Gibson, and you can definitely see some parallels at this
Hurled
point. They both hid
slurs.
inside the industry and just couldn't ignore what they saw. Mel was Shia's hero, and even recently said he wanted to shake some sense into him because he knew what that was like. Shia, like Mel, learned the hard way that if
Mel
you
Gibson,
leave
he
the
got
Hollywood
blackballed
abyss
too,
for
though,
too
right?
long,
I remember he
the
got
abyss
blackballed for
gazes
something.
back at you. So he started to see
He made the
everyone who would help
film.
him for what they
Didn't
really
he make the film about Jesus? Am I bugging? I could be wrong. I could be very wrong, but I'm pretty sure that was Mel Gibson.
were, and you get the feeling that realization tortured
Now I
his
have to look. Mel Gibson movie on Jesus. Am I right? Yes, The Passion of Christ. Yeah. Oh, that was him. Damn. Did I watch that in school? Reveals everything what happened. I might have to watch that. I haven't watched a Joe Rogan podcast.
He said that
in
his idol, Steven Spielberg, wasn't a genius,
7,
he was
8 years,
just a
maybe?
businessman. So Shia turned on him too, making bitter headlines everywhere.
I remember talking shit to Spielberg. I mean, there was no director who ever directed me.
For the first time, he didn't just resent the industry, he wanted to destroy it, and he chose one of the most powerful men in Hollywood. By this point, it wasn't
was his
about
number
his
one
behavior
mistake.
anymore. It was about his innermost self. He no longer came across as friendly, as someone who had issues, but also had people's best interests at heart.
So he's
Instead,
never
he
getting
was
in a movie ever
corrupting
again,
him
is
to
what I'm
the
hearing.
core. He admitted to being an awful person at work, even bullying actors on set if they're inexperienced or unsure of themselves.
Directors who put me on, who took me from nothing and put me on, I eviscerated in public life. Even on set, when I would sense weakness in another person on the other side of a scene, I would lean in. I wouldn't try to uplift nobody.
Where he used to sell films first, now he sold newspapers. The world loves a falling star, more so if it burns brightly on its way down and creates lots of engaging content along the way.
You know, I had no
Because
love in my
the
life. I had no
internet loves negativity, gang. The internet loves negativity. I witnessed it firsthand, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I did some negative shit the other day. Had 60 niggas in the chat. We watching this moon video right now on Shia LaBeouf. There's probably one nigga in here. Like, you feel me? It's just how it go, man. It's just how it go.
My whole purpose, as you know, was just craft. It was just, I'm gonna be good at this thing, and that's all that I have. The only thing I care about in life is being a good actor. And that's such a vapid, shallow existence. And 3 emotions that I toggled between, which was I would feel anxiety, depression, and excitement.
This was the exact state Hollywood
Interesting.
wanted
That's
him
an
in at the
interesting 3.
time. This was the instability it rewarded until it didn't.
I feel like
Once
anxious,
his worsening mental
him being
health,
anxious
evident
in
addiction issues, and
depression
psychosis
kind of
took
goes hand in
over,
hand.
the
But
list
like,
of
what are you
people willing
excited
to
about?
work
You
with
know what I
him
mean?
was
What's exciting you?
dwindling.
What are we inventing a whole step for?
His toxicity isn't tolerated anymore and he became unemployable. It was finally time for an intervention. So he goes to rehab. And it's at this point everything looked like it was about to change. While there, he's told to write something, anything to confront the demons. And what he writes is truly phenomenal. He delves into the trauma that created him, his brutal upbringing, his abusive and cruel father. It was a searing account of personal pain, and it's a script for his biopic Honey Boy. He got his dad to sign off on it by lying to him that Mel Gibson, their hero, would play him.
Did you tell him beforehand this?
My dad's a pretty off-color character. He wasn't like too enthused about me playing him, you know. I don't know how you are with your dad or how you guys are with your dad, but my dad wasn't trying to have me play him, so I lied to him and told him that Mel Gibson would be playing him.
After leaving
what a
the film goes
dickhead.
into production, and he even cast someone he'd soon fall in love with, the upcoming British singer FKA Twigs. And the film is an enormous success. He'd bypassed Hollywood, and against all odds, his career was back, just like his hero Mel Gibson had shown. So, during the COVID pandemic around that time, he then showed up alongside Brad Pitt, Jennifer Aniston, and Morgan Freeman on a celebrity Zoom about the 80s comedy Fast Times at Richmond's High. There he was shirtless in a car with neon sunglasses, probably high, and stole the show. It was clear he hadn't completely lost his mojo for acting, as Honey Boy wasn't just a film, it was penance, it was accountability, it was proof he'd finally forced the truth. Except it wasn't. FKA Twigs publicly accuses him of abusing her. She then goes on the Louis Theroux podcast and details a violent attack in public, where no one would intervene.
After the incident driving back from the desert where he was threatening to crash the car unless I said I loved him, and ended up basically strangling me in public at a gas station, and nobody did anything.
Singer Shia follows up claiming he is abusive and manipulative, and once again his reputation is shredded. Only this time,
So he literally just took on all his pops' tendencies. He literally just became his pops. Like, he's literally his dad present day today. That's probably why this nigga is fried. From all the trauma from when he was a kid. My thing is that if he's been acting and doing stand-up and like being on like the performative side of things since he was 10, like what, like I want to know like the story of him like being abused in GTA. I don't know. I'm sure the movie could probably explain better, but that's interesting.
That of other women. In a post-Me Too climate where cancellation for such allegations is a certainty.
Yeah. Singer-songwriter FKA Twigs in her first TV interview since filing a civil lawsuit in December against actor and former boyfriend Shia LaBeouf.
With his newly resurrected career crucified, Shia retreats from the limelight, and it's at this time that he has a child with Mia Goth. Now, fatherhood actually seems to have a profound effect on him. Perhaps
I don't be knowing these people, bro. I swear I don't. I don't know niggas like that, gang.
Himself after 2 decades of self-destruction. But after the abuse allegations, he was still untouchable. Only one person was willing to talk to him and let him speak, and this conversation revealed who Shia LaBeouf really is. On John Berthnell's podcast, Shia admits something that reframes the entire story. The abusive father, the trauma that sculpted him, the script he wrote in rehab as a part of his healing. He admits he exaggerated it, manipulated us all, and shaped it to win sympathy. The work he'd done in rehab, expunging his demons by writing the script, wasn't part of a healing process at all.
I wrote this narrative, which was just fucking none. My dad was so loving to me my whole life. Fractured, sure. Crooked, sure. Like, wonky for sure. But never was not loving. Never was not there. He was always there. He was always there.
He wasn't doing it to grow or get better, he just made it all up. He made himself the victim because that's how he saw himself.
People who would come to me after seeing that movie.
So he made this whole shit up. His own pops, gang.
You know, and all this fucking nonsense. Honey Boy is basically like a big woe is me story about how my father is. And I wronged him.
However, here he looks after several tries to have really gotten clean and taken true accountability. He tearfully admits he nuked relationships because he felt people only wanted to be in relationships or friends with him due to his success.
It's difficult for a dude in my spot
of his
to receive love. Because you don't feel like you deserve it. And so you wind up dipping on a lot of people, even when they're showing up for you. And then you gotta have like real conversations. I had to really put it out there to him, like, bro, I don't feel successful enough to be your friend anymore.
He said the only thing that might actually save him from himself and what he called the poetry inside of him that tore him apart was to work at a job that didn't ask that of him at all. Like working at Home
This
Depot,
nigga got a
where
job
you
at Home
take some
Depot.
pleasure in going through the motion.
I spend so much time in Home Depot, dog.
Do you?
Yeah, that's a church for me.
Yeah.
Home Depot
Are you
is
building a lot? Are you working with
yeah,
your
yeah.
hands?
I'm
You
in
okay?
Home Depot all the time.
Okay, so you feel like
I love
you
Home
have a-
Depot.
The reception to this was mixed. People were enraged that Berthnell was giving a platform to a woman beater. They were horrified that Shia was just so much more narcissistic than anyone had ever known. For those who grew up with him, even idolized him, it was like disavowing a friend you've done absolutely everything for but can no longer get behind. People questioned what other things he'd lied about. If he was admitting he'd told the whole world his father was an abuser to sell a film, revive his career, and burnish his reputation. But there's
He still
also
fucked
a
it
lot of
up.
admiration that he was honest about it. It showed he really had turned over a new leaf. His commitment to sobriety for his daughter was poignant and relatable for many people. But it didn't last, with him showing everyone that this year is just another relapse. The Channel 5 interview reveals how fragile his mental state is right now, as he switches between moments of clarity and madness.
To be honest with you, big gay people are scary to me.
What do you mean?
When I'm like standing by myself and 3 gay dudes are next to me touching my leg, I get scared. I'm sorry. If that's homophobic, then I'm that.
Yeah.
It just happened one time.
Recently.
Well, that's why I got arrested.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you were sort of being groped and surrounded.
I'm not gonna say that because my lawyer said, "Oh fuck, dude."
At another stage, he starts
This nigga is cooked! Oh my god.
and appears to be about to say he doesn't agree with gay people before catching himself and even asking for help to no one in particular.
I'm a Catholic, bro. You know what I mean? I don't fuck with the. God, be careful. Count me now. I'm a Catholic.
From the direction he's headed in, jail is about the only option he has
They
exhausted.
his
and
legal
might be
team
his
let
destiny
him
if
get
he
on this
can't turn
podcast
things
though.
around.
That like who's his management? Like who's helping this nigga, bro? He's clearly cooked. Like the nigga's clearly cooked. Who's allowing him to do this shit, gang?
Shia's life had become so surreal, past tragedy, past comedy, past entertainment, into this uncanny valley where you're watching a real person but your brain is treating it like fiction. Hollywood didn't only break him, it built him from scratch first. It took a kid with nothing, gave him everything, and never once prepared him for what that would actually cost. Then when the cost became visible, it looked the other way, and when the cost became ugly, it cut him loose. But the hardest part of Shia's story isn't what the industry did to him. It's that he learned its tricks so well that he started using them on everyone around him. The exaggerated trauma, the manufactured redemption, the performative accountability. He became the thing he hated, and he stared into the abyss for way too long. And we all watched it. Every meltdown, every arrest, every tearful confession. The same way we watched one of his characters, as solely entertainment that played on our ability to relate to him. That is the price he paid. Shia LaBeouf sold his soul to an industry that taught him how to perform everything except being a real person. And now, even when he's trying to be honest, no one, maybe not even him, can tell if it's real or just another role.
That's scary, bruh. That's scary because like I always thought I had like a decent skill of like acting and shit. So seeing how he just crumbled like a cookie from such an early age to now was just like, damn, like that shit really, really affected, bro. To the point where I don't think he could ever go back to like return of just being like a normal human. Like he'll never have the satisfaction of that ever again. Which is unfortunate. He went through that. Damn. I mean, fuck, bro. That's fucked. That's actually truly fucked. Like I remember watching that interview on Channel 5 and I was just like, bro, I know I'm not cooked right now. Like I'm sober, but like something about this just does not feel right, like at all. Something's off. You know what I mean?